Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am your wonderful host, Fontamin, and welcome back to Fate Grand Order. Now that I think about it, that probably wasn't the best time to cut off, because I still had to explain a lot of things before we, well, continued onward. I'm gonna save the lion's share of the grinding for the things where it, actually comes up, but one thing I want to get out of the way first is, well, two things. One, I made a mistake when equipping our gacha-given waifu for this wonderful adventure, Elizabeth Bathory. And also, I didn't actually, explain how leveling works, even though I actually kind of could. We're not that poor. I could actually show you how leveling works. One moment. Now, first thing. This explanation gets, it comes in a bit. Let's just move on quickly. But, leveling! Right, so. Right, we're going to select this Elizabeth as the Elizabeth we're going to be using. And we're just gonna put a lock on her. Just so we don't accidentally use her in anything. Right, so, select that. Now for leveling, well, as I said before, you don't get experience directly from fighting enemies in battle. That levels up your bond level with your servant, which unlocks certain other things and, other voice dialogues, and it's a representation of how attached they are to you as a master. Isn't that great? However, in order to actually make them, world-class, winning beat sticks, you actually have to, enhance them through summoning cards. Well, XP cards, rather. They're all summoning cards. But how you do that is you come in here to into enhancement, and then you go into servants, and then click over here, and you scroll down to something like this. And you're gonna need a lot of these things. These are, Blaze of Wisdom all, which is, a fun way of, which is what I believe the maximum level XP cards there are. I'm assuming there are 5-star XP cards. However, I haven't actually seen them. I'm not an expert in this game, but I have been playing along for a while, and I have actually somewhat figured out some of the basic mechanics. But, seeing here we have Blaze of Wisdom, and then over here, if I scroll, not those cards, like here, we have this as well. Ember of Wisdom. This is this is your cheap one. This is the easy one. And as you see by the stars, they ascend in value and also XP count. So, for example, our Ember of Wisdom gives us 1,000 XP, which is sufficient enough to level Elizabeth up 1 level. However, the Blaze of Wisdom gives us 32,000 XP for a single card. Now, considering I didn't get a 5-star servant out of my gacha rolls, I'm kind of disappointed in that regard, and we seem to be overloaded with sabers. I'm gonna try and not, shove all of my stuff into one character, which is what I did on my other account, and that worked out pretty well. However, we don't really have an amazing standout here to attract all of those cards, which is why I'm kind of disappointed with the gacha. However, we did get a lot of 4-star servants, so we're not terribly off. Actually, the exceptional thing is that we're exceptionally average. We're not amazingly, disadvantaged in one area, even though, we've only got, 3 sabers, and, 3 lancers, 1 rider, and 1 berserker, and mash all the way down there. But we have acceptable heroes to throw out there, and in Elizabeth's case, acceptable villains. But remember, it's 14-year-old her. She hasn't sacrificed and, bathed in the blood of virgins yet. That her is in the game, though. We'll run into her later. But, to show you what happens just for the sake of experimentation, because we're actually going to need to level up Elizabeth and everybody else in order to actually, stand a fighting chance at getting through the harder parts of the tutorial, even though the tutorial isn't terribly hard. So, with the addition of this, you see we ascend from level 1 to level 12, and this is what what happens when you do this. Right? It warns you if you're using 4-star or higher, because 4-star or higher is quite rare. However, there are fairly easy ways to get these kinds of cards. Well, easy in a relative sense, once you actually know how to where to get them. Uh-huh. We have fed the beast. She's complimenting us, I'm sure. Though I could actually, well, look at her dialogue to see exactly what she's saying. But she called us master. See, doesn't that make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside? That's how they get your money. But, you see, even that was a pretty significant bump in, well, everything, really. You know, her HP went up to, well, 3,000, and her attack went up to 2,000. So, that's how you level servants, essentially. So, just for the sake of, well, just for the sake of doing it, I'm gonna go ahead and level her up probably near as high as I can go, even though we have a bit of an issue. The classes are all randomly arranged, however, as I've been encountering it, Saber usually gets the job done in most circumstances. The only class that Saber is weak against is, well, Lancer. And that would make you think, oh, well, Lancer should be good. However, let's see here. Actually, no, that's incorrect. I fucked it up. They're weak against Archer. That's about the only thing that actually can really grind them to a halt. And I ran into some pretty big issues with Altera to the point where I actually had to bring a Lancer on board. And that was Cucullin. We have him as well. But the problem is, Lancer is strong against Archer, but Lancer is weak against Saber. And at least in the initial stages of this game, the most common enemy is in fact Saber. So Liz here is gonna get cock-blocked really hard if we rely on her too much. That's kind of one of the downsides of her. But, well, we're just gonna level her up as high as we can go since, well, this is the gacha-given waifu. We must support the waifu. So we're gonna put ourselves in a bit of debt here. Let's see if it actually, can we get her up to max level like this? No, we can't. However, also, in addition to that, we have to, well, be a bit careful, because if we level her up too high, her cost goes up. And if we're not careful, we could actually run into some fairly big problems. I'm not exactly sure exactly how much we've gained by this, so I'm gonna actually play this a little bit safe. So I'm gonna put 2 cards in here. And that brings us up to level 18. You see, that falls off pretty quickly. But, yeah, it gets a 4,000 HP and 3,000 attack. Not bad. Now, you see, Super Success and Great Success have their chances increased. However, we've just gotten 2 normal successes in a row. Super Success and Great Success are double and triple the amount of, well, XP that you put in. It's random chance. Sometimes when you craft it, you'll get a bit of a bonus. Unfortunately, as we've proven, rate up is a lie! We're in for disappointment here. But, alright. So, what I want to observe is going into formation here. I'm going into party setup. We only have 2 points. Oh boy. Also, the other thing I wanted to switch while we're here. I've been informed that, Liz's Noble Phantasm is actually quite effective. So I'm actually going to give her a chance to get her NP. And, well, we didn't start off terribly bad in, well, Crafting Essence, too. However, there's one thing we're on the lookout for. It's Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope is very, very good. Do you know why Kaleidoscope is very, very good? It's because it gives you 80% Noble Phantasm at the start, and if you upgrade it, and I'll show you how you upgrade Crafting Essence as we go, you can get it to 100%. So, whatever hero you have it equipped on, if you have it properly leveled, you can start the game with a Noble Phantasm to immediately wipe anything that you're looking at. Or you can store it up and charge it even higher. That's fun. That's actually how my attack strategy on my phone well, my phone profile works. However, we can't do that because we don't have a hilarious saber beat stick. So, well, we're just gonna have to figure out how to properly play the game. But, seeing this, well, we have a little bit more room, I suppose, so we can probably get away with leveling Liz a little bit higher. Wait, nope, that's the wrong one. That's the double. We're gonna use that later. And remember what I told you, doubles are important. So even if you get doubles of the same servant or crafting essence, it's actually very good. So let's see here. So what we're gonna do is, how much money do we have? See, where does that actually put us if we use all of them? And we have these cards as well, which we can call upon, which increase, right? Increase attack. Well, actually, increase servant minimum attack by 50. Maximum HP can be increased by 950 using hero crystals. It only says HP, huh? Right, well, this increases attack and, well, HP. These are good to throw on a servant. However, they do get kind of random and sporadic. These ones are very dependent on, you can only use these are all classes. However, the ones you more commonly get are actually slaved to a single class, which makes them kind of hard to use. Especially if you get one for a useless class that you're actually not actually employing. Oh well, the gacha protects. The gacha works in mysterious ways. It gives us what we need, but not what we want. And sometimes it doesn't give us what we want, it wants to make us work. Or throw money at it. Alright, so exactly how much XP, where does this put us? Level 26, wow, that doesn't really get us very high. So actually what we're going to do is accidentally back out of the menu. Duh! So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get Liz up to level 20. Level 22. Don't need one of those. Sorry, Liz, we're rationing. Level 21, actually we only need one. Level 19, oh, you're gonna pull this shit? Fine, whatever. Let's saber, we'll save that for the sabers. Alright, fine, you get 2, you greedy bitch. And you can skip this, by the way. Alright, that should be sufficient to carry us through most of this. We'll level up everyone as we need them, or as we can actually fucking deploy them. But that's how leveling works! The problem is actually getting those XP cards, which there are a couple ways to do it, but I'll save that for when we're actually out of the fucking tutorial. But for now, let's continue with this visual novel, shall we? Let's see here. We are fighting, well, Lancers. Okay, so we can just kind of throw Liz in here and she'll be fine. So, what else do we have here? Well, we have Altera here. Of Lancelot. Lancelot with, you see, that's Kaleidoscope. That's what that looks like. I'm jelly. I actually want Lancelot. Lancelot's kind of fun. Mainly because of his noble phantasm, but I think we're gonna get another gacha roll when we get out of this. So, right, when we complete the tutorial. So, we'll have another chance to take a crack at that before we actually have to work for our Saint Quartz. But also something I should mention for friend requests, you can only actually use the support's Noble Phantasm, i.e. the support character's Noble Phantasm that you call in, if you have, well, if you're friends with that person. So, unfortunately, we can't actually use, well, we can't actually make total advantage of Lancelot and his, well, awesome Kaleidoscope here. However, we're still gonna pull him in because he'll be entertaining. Alright, so, this should be alright. By the way, the type of being we call servants, you know, you know what they are, don't you? Yeah, they're heroic spirits summoned from legend and history to do our bidding in this, well, this isn't necessarily a Grail war, but it's kind of the same thing. Well, actually in a blown out sort of sense. You see, if you go and watch Fate Zero, it gives you a pretty good idea of why they actually summon heroic spirits. And the general idea, to sum up very quickly, is that a bunch of wizards with no sense of right or wrong summon a bunch of heroic spirits from hero and legend to beat the shit out of each other over the Wish Cup, which is the Holy Grail. Whoever wins this contest gets a wish from the Holy Grail. this is why all of this shit is happening. Well, in a sense. This is its own original story, so it explains itself, well, it explains its own form of logic upon that system. So, you don't necessarily need to go diving into all the fate stuff in order to actually understand what the hell's going on here. This is its own little fractured reality. And remember, it's Time Squad. This doesn't have any real basis with anywhere else. However, this game is also getting its own anime, which is, well, funny to think about, really. But, well, let's continue on, shall we? I do have some basic knowledge. I've seen some animes. Glad to hear it. Now, I won't have to explain the rudimentary things like what a heroic spirit is. It's a hero from the past. You know, King Arthur, Cuchulainn, Alexander the Great, well, Elizabeth Bathory, but that's not exactly, well, putting a heroic spirit on that is kind of, well, a big question mark, but it works. There are people who get things done! But some of them are really, really terrible. Servants are heroes of the past made into familiars. Those who enter into a contract with them and use them are masters. You see, that's us. See, that's where we get that nice title. It's not actually a sex thing. Though if you read the dojins, it is mostly a sex thing. There are 7 classes of servants, which vary depending on a servant's legends and abilities. Yeah. You see, that's the thing. The servants are people from history and legend, and their noble phantasms, their special attacks, and their actual attributes themselves are all taken from, well, things about their legend or their history. So, for example, King Arthur has Excalibur as her noble phantasm. You see, this is basically just putting all the mythology into a box and shaking it around a lot, and then pulling it out, just pulling a card out. It's a little bit, incredibly anime, but once you actually get into it, it's actually kind of entertaining to play around with. And as you can see, the people who made this game are very entertained with the things that they have done with some of these characters. They make pretty good waifus sometimes. It's incredibly difficult to copy a heroic spirit entirely. Human mages do not have enough resources or memory to achieve such feat. That's why only one aspect of a heroic spirit is fixed in our world, resulting in the 7 classes. Sometimes the same heroic spirit can be summoned as different classes. For example, Cuchulainn can also be summoned as a caster for some goddamn reason. And if I remember correctly, Gilgamesh is basically every fucking class except assassin. And Hercules is also touted to essentially be he can be every class, it's just that we only have one variation of him. So, this is why we can have multiple heroes doing certain, different things every time they're summoned in a singular instance. So, this means we get to double up on the waifus. You following me here? Yes, Saber, Lancer, Archer, Rider, Caster, Berserker, and Assassin. I already explained this to you, but it's nice that the game is actually putting it in front of you, too. Every heroic spirit will manifest as one of these classes. That's the true nature of servants. It's also a way to hide their true names as well. I'll let them explain this. They hide their names because they are famous. Take Achilles from Greek mythology. Achilles is an invincible heroic spirit, however, but his weakness is extremely famous, right? Yes, his heel. So, this is what happens. The heroic spirits hide their names, because if you know their legends, you know how to kill them. See, there's a little bit of, there's a lot of nuances to this little system that they made up. When a heroic spirit returns, stop scrolling so damn fast. When a heroic spirit returns, their weakness returns with them. That's why servants hide their names behind their class. So they're just, in a Grail war, there's only one instance of every class. So this is why the participants, or the participant heroic spirits, get to hide behind Saber, Lancer, Archer, etc. They can say, I am Saber, and then that is pretty much self-explanatory. If you don't know their identity, it's harder to figure out their past or weaknesses, right? Yep, you don't know shit, you can't kill them. That's not all. There's another reason for hiding one's true name. A servant has a secret weapon worthy of their legend, the crystallization of that heroic spirit's miracle and existence. The noble phantasm. However, we've been interrupted. I'm sorry, the tutorial is progressing too slowly. The flesh-eating monsters in robes are, well, they're getting restless back there. They want us to kill something. I'll be hiding over there. Yeah, you just sit right over there, you useless bitch. She's only good for exposition and padding out the plot here. But also, you'll see this happen a lot in this game, whereas they have a really long conversation, and then they just kind of break it up with a random fight. This will happen again and again. But, well, we are playing a mobile game, and this is a fairly, like I said, fairly robust mobile game. So let's see here. One other thing I wanted to actually show you while we're in this menu, but let's see what's going on here with, I don't actually know what Lancelot's skills are. Okay, external arms mastery. Gather your C-star, well, C-star rate. So he gains more critical stars when he hits people, or rather, he gathers more, where the critical stars are denoted, are, you know, doled up randomly. That increases the chances that he'll get some. What's this? Increases your C-star drop rate. Okay, so he gets more critical stars, and he collects more of them. Damn, Lancelot, you ready to go. But, the one thing I actually wanted to show you here is, well, over here, the master skill. We do have skills of our own, even though they are incredibly weak. We can heal, we can boost the attack of one servant, and we can give evade to one servant, which is, well, guaranteed miss. Evade is a really bullshit sort of system, well, a bullshit code of ability, but, you know, it can help in a pinch when you don't want to die horribly. In addition to that, we also have our command spell, which, well, we have 3 of them, and they recharge daily, or rather, they recharge, well, 1 at a time every 24 hours, I think. I'm not exactly sure of the rate. However, for the cost of one seal, we can increase in one's noble phantasm to 100%. So, in a panic, we can actually just sort of amp one of our noble phantasms to really, well, murder the shit out of someone, if we need it. We can also use one spell to fully restore one servant's HP to maximum. And all the way down here, we can use all 3 of them in a panic to revive all party members when everyone dies. However, that costs 3, you need to have all of them. So, this is all of the other things that we can do in the middle of a fight. But, so, let's just beat the shit out of these guys, shall we? Let's just get everybody's attack up. Thank you, Elizabeth. And let's send Lancelot in there. He seems like he's ready to go. He's got a quick card. We'll use the support as a meat shield, then I won't have to sacrifice my waifus. Alright, so what we want to do is, I'm fairly confident that Lancelot is going to totally wreck this guy in one hit because he's level 51. So once again, we're going to spread the damage out. So we're going to do quick, and then we're going to give the Buster card to Mash, and then we're going to do the Buster again with Lancelot. So, if I actually... Yeah, okay, right, he's dead. And now the attack switches to the other guy. And then... he's fucking dead. 9,000. Not bad, Lancelot, not bad. Alright, so now we have 3 enemies. Most of which are really not that impressive. See, getting Elizabeth to level 21 was probably sufficient for most of these fights. However, the boss fights in this tutorial are something to look out for. But, so, that's the big one with all of the hit points. And we have a, well, we can actually attack with all 3 servants. So, what we're gonna do is, you see, fucking 30% critical. He's ready to murder people. Right, so, well, actually, you know, yeah, actually, this is sufficient to kill anyone anyway. But then again, we only have 2 engagements up here. So, this is a little bit wasteful to think about this hard, but it pays to learn these skills. Because you're gonna need to do this sort of stuff to rack up Noble Phantasm and do the most damage. So it pays to actually learn how the cards work and how you can abuse the card system before the fights actually get difficult. So, we'll have that, and then, well, we'll send Mash in, and then we'll have Elizabeth have the highest damage attack. You see, no fucking problem. However, MASH did not kill the target. God damn it, MASH. Oh no, 81 damage. Oh no. Someone get MASH a band-aid. Oh, Elizabeth has a brave chain. Well, there goes that. Go get him. The camera's rolling. She might have enjoyed that a little bit too much. Good job, Lancelot. Good job. And also, as you saw, overkilling a target, aka doing more damage than it has hit points, is also somewhat useful, because you can gain more Noble Phantasm off of that. So, well, you do actually get a bonus for totally wrecking one guy if you actually strategically place the card attacks. That's kind of the thing about this game. The card system is very simple on the surface, however, there's a lot of nuances into abusing it optimally. So, there is a lot of depth in here, even though the combat doesn't seem like it does. Or it seems like it doesn't have that. But, well, good fight, everybody. Little tiny XP, but, you know, I have a wave where we're gonna be increasing that fairly soon. And also, when we fight people, they drop things. So, well, we've got, you know, a couple thousand QP, a Ember of Wisdom for a Lancer. We'd throw that into Elizabeth. That's your prize. And also a, what is this called again? I forget what it's called. Gem of Lancer, right. Which you need to upgrade skills. You still need crafting elements to do other things about, you know, about a servant. Their skills do not go up with their level. You have to level them separately. And also, their Noble Phantasm doesn't level along with their level. You have to also give that, you have to also pay attention to that with its own sort of constraints. Which is actually fairly simple, however incredibly fucking difficult, but we'll get to that once we have enough money to actually do that. Right, I'll send a friend request to the dude with Lancelot. I want to use his Noble Phantasm. It pays to make friends. Okay, so we've got one more battle here in terms of this quest. So let's jump right into it. Okay, what else do we have here on the roster here? Lots of Janines. Robin Hood. Yes, Robin Hood is here. But, oh, level 70 Altera. Wow, don't I wish I was playing my mobile account right now. We'll call her in, just so you can see what I'm playing with. However, unfortunately, I can't use her Noble Phantasm because no friend request, but you'll get an idea of what I can usually swing around with. I can feel the tension across the screen. The director is grumpy as usual. Well, maybe that's because we're all in a very tense, life-threatening situation. But why is she so mad? Well, I could feel some sympathy for the director's ill temper. It's nice that we're all talking down to the director over here in the corner, behind Mash's shield. Excuse me, but Showman Senpai... Oh, that's got a nice ring to it. There's too much about Chaldea that you don't know. Well, yeah, I only got here, you know, today, got 180 seconds worth of training and a head injury, and now I'm fighting, well, the skeleton war down here in this really screwed up Japanese city. But I'm getting exposition just, you know, funneled to me. I'll be on the same page eventually. Yeah, I'm honest. I really don't know what to do with you. It's like you're like a lost little kitty. No, I could have probably used that on you a couple of hours ago. Well, not that I'm any different. Well, at least she's honest too. You see, Mash is somewhat lackluster as a servant, but she's dependable. Kind of. It's been about 2 years since I started. Here, and I still don't get it. I kind of sneaked in, almost like an alligator. English translation. Yes, I know sneaked is technically, an actual word. However, snuck would have worked just fine and like an alligator. Excuse me? This expression I do not know. True, alligators have no clue. Do you see, this doesn't make any sense. But okay. Right. Yes, I've learned as much as I can from the database, but I'll share it with you. Oh boy, more exposition. Ready, guys? Chaldea Security Organization, or more accurately, the Security Organization for the Preservation of Humanity. Fenis Chaldea. Or Fenis Chaldea. A research observatory with the purpose of continuing and strengthening human history, with researchers, scholars, and mages from all around the world. Yes, I know, we're Time Squad. They watch a world that Magecraft couldn't observe, and science couldn't measure. We're a special organization with national support, created to prevent humanity from reaching a bad end. Oh no, not the bad ends! Yes. We are a UN-funded organization that stops the wayward spirit of humanity from getting the bad end, where we don't get any waifus and we have a manly picnic. You sure know a lot, Mash. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Good, made her blush. See? Got her hook, line, and fucking sinker. Shut up, you mutant fox. It's true that Chaldea receives financial support from across the globe, but the majority of that comes from the Mages Association in London. In London. London? Really? I need to enunciate better. The wizards may be watching. From the Animospheres family. That is the most fucking conspicuous name I've ever seen. Director Olga Marie's family. Yeah, well, Chaldea is a research organization, but due to its importance, it operates on a military level. Yeah, funded by the UN, gives us clearance to do everything except horrible war crimes, and then if we ask nicely, we get to do war crimes. There are extremely strict rules and punishments for everything, so the director's attitude is actually reserved. The director isn't a villain, but she is evil. She'll get rid of any staff member she doesn't like. So what you're saying is, she's not a terrible person, she's just a really big bitch. Got ya. Yeah, right. That's almost just as bad, but whatever. Well, I'm not sure if it's okay to call someone who's got a bad attitude evil. You just call her a bitch, Mash, it's okay. Sorry, I wanted to give you some encouragement, but I'm not used to cheery words. It's okay, Mash. We're all shut-ins here. We get it. More skeletons. Well, we're having a nice chat about how much of a bitch you are. Alright, yeah, hang the fuck on here. We've got this. Well, Senpai, give me your orders. Smack him upside the head. Go get him. Elizabeth will be right behind you.